Hey, this is Matt. Once again, welcome back to another video. This is a paid request from Nate. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting any type of videos, reviews, re-reviews, tier lists, rankings, movie topics, or random stuff, commentaries, video game playthroughs, whatever the case may be, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal. Do have a CashApp as well. Links are down below in the info box, and I will get to it as soon as I possibly can. And for those who sent them, thank you. I do appreciate it. Krippendorf's Tribe. Funny enough, I saw this film a long time ago when I was a kid. My aunt would send my family and I various tapes with multiple films on a VHS tape. Usually family films, Disney films, kid films of the like. And technically this is a Disney film because it came out of Touchstone Pictures, and that was a subdivision of Disney. So it's funny with some of the stuff in this, with how righteous Disney wants to be nowadays. But technically from Touchstone. There's talent involved with this movie, don't get me wrong. Richard Dreyfuss, I always enjoyed as an actor. Stakeout, Jaws, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. What About Bob? Fun movie. And maybe Richard Dreyfuss was like, hey, I get to be the star of a film. I did some comedies like What About Bob that were hits. Why not? It's based on a book. I never read the book. I don't know if the book is good or not. This was a terrible idea for a comedy. The premise just sucks. I don't really understand how people look at the premise and go, yeah, in 1998, this seems like a fun idea. Apparently nobody else did either, because when it came out, it only made $7 million. It got blasted by the critics. It was a waste of a cast. Richard Dreyfuss, I mentioned, great actor. Jenna Elfman, this is around the time she got that show Dharma and Greg. She would later be in, what was it, Ed TV, Looney Tunes Back in Action, other stuff. I liked Jenna Elfman, always liked her, never minded her. I don't know what the last thing she's done. She might have done stuff, but nothing I've heard of. Lily Tomlin, been in various movies throughout the years. She's talented. Stephen Root, who is in Office Space. Stephen Root is in this as pretty much one of Richard Dreyfuss's bosses, I should say. There's a few other people I recognize. Zacchaeus Bokai, he's one of the tribesmen. And you see a little bit more of him at the very end. I might have mispronounced his name, but he was the, the main villain in The Serpent and the Rainbow. He was also in Jeff Fahey's film Body Parts, when Jeff Fahey and the killer are handcuffed to each other, and Bokai is the cop driving while trying to help Jeff Fahey. I think this is one of the last films he did before he passed away. I think the guy, I want to say the kid who, before I go on, the premise of the film. Richard Dreyfuss, his wife has passed away. He has 3 kids. He has an older daughter. He has a son, and then he has a little boy. The son, middle age, like, I don't know how old he is, but he's the middle of the 3. I believe that kid might have been the star of Small Soldiers. Don't quote me on that, but I think it is the lead kid in Small Soldiers. Things are not going the best. He doesn't really have a great communication with his kids. And Richard Dreyfuss is an anthropologist. So one day we get a little bit of what's going on with him and his kids, and ever since his wife has died, things have not been that great. Like I said, Jenna Elfman comes by because she's a big fan of Dreyfuss. She works at the same place he does. And she's like, I'm really excited for your lecture. He's like, what? Oh, your lecture of the tribe that you guys have found, right? You haven't forgotten, right? He has, because he's been so out of it since his wife's death. And the money that was to be used to find this tribe, when they went, they didn't find anything. And then the money was used for the house and the kids and being a single parent. So now he's got to do this lecture, but he doesn't really have anything. So one thing leads to another, and he just makes it up. He makes up a tribe. He names the tribe after letters of each of his 3 kids, puts them together. Something that one of his kids found, he pretty much fakes and lies and says it's a marital device. In other words, they're fucking dildo. Somehow his bullshit, everybody believes, except Lily Tomlin. She's kind of the antagonist of the film. Although what Richard Dreyfuss is doing is wrong. I mean, it was his job to find... I mean, yeah, it's sad what happened to his wife, but he got paid a shitload of money, like $100,000 for this, and they're wondering where their money went to. And so he decides with his kids, for the longest time, the oldest daughter wants nothing to do with it, that she does one or a few things. The 2 younger kids are more into it. He starts filming them as a tribe, using also footage from stuff he got with his wife when they went over to another tribe a while ago. And the jokes are that he's filming stuff with his family and they're acting like tribespeople. And the reason I'm stumbling over this review is that I kind of sit there and I go, these grown-ass people make this film, they don't know what the fuck they're doing. That's why I'm stumbling over this review. That's why I'm just having a hard time even getting through the plot. And my words are like trying to climb a fucking skyscraper with no net, no rope, thinking I'm Ethan Hunt and I'm going to fucking just do a swan dive and do some Mission Impossible shit to save the day. When no, I'm going to be flatter than a pancake. Okay, I'm going to be a fly where the last thing that goes through his mind is his ass. Right on the windshield. Because this is still technically a Disney movie that has a fucking dildo joke. And then Dreyfuss even says, hey, Lily Tomlin, you should use that for the weekend. Pretty much telling her to go fuck herself with a dildo. I'm like, I don't know, if you use that for a dildo, you're going to impale yourself, literally. And blackface. The kids are dressed up as little black kids. Because their skin's black. Their face is black with some white paint. They're blackface. And even Richard Dreyfuss eventually gets in blackface. And then Richard Dreyfuss at one point pretends to be a tribesman. Because he's filming stuff. And then he tried to do something, but he forgot. Oh my God, they saw me. And one of his kids goes, well, they don't know it's you. Oh, yeah, okay. So the people who worked for him, or worked, not for him, but worked at the same college he does, come by. And he pretends to be a fucking tribesman. And he's trying to be like Mrs. Doubtfire, where he'll go in and then it's him. Oh, let me go get him real quick. And he comes back and it's fucking blackface. And also somehow all these people are so fucking stupid they believe this horse shit. Except Lily Tomlin, where her and her assistant go to New Guinea. And then pretty much most of her journey is going through the jungle or on a tape recorder commenting on a guy's ass who's right in front of her. Man, he's got a nice ass. I mean, what kind of fucking movie is this? So there's people in blackface. They film stuff where one pretends to chop the other's willy, wee wee, dick, penis, cojones off. His dad did one kid to act scared. Why am I afraid? Because your brother's going to chop your wee wee off. There you go. And they film, they show a bit, people believe it, they want more. Jenna Elfman tries to get on national, more success on TV and other avenues. So then they have, Richard Dreyfuss feels he's got to keep filming to keep the charade going. Then it's like, oh yeah, we need to have something about the mating rituals. What? Jenna Elfman, you'd get the idea, also has a crush on Richard Dreyfuss, so they get drunk and dress up as tribes people, at least she does, and kind of dancing and being drunk, and he's filming it. And then lo and behold, when it's shown, Jenna Elfman's like at a TV shop or something and sees her, and she's like, what? You know, the wall of sex at a TV store. Richard Dreyfuss pretends to be a tribesman during a live interview, and she wants to get back at him for doing that, so she does stuff like put stuff in his mouth so it's really hot, and he's got to deal with the heat or deal with the pain and deal with the other stuff. Jenna Elfman's mad about it, but at the same time she goes along with it because, hey, you don't get this money and half that money's mine and I deserve it because you shall be in that light. Lily Tomlin finds that there's nothing in the spot that supposedly there is, so she tries to call to say, hey, this is a sham. Meanwhile, there's this big party going on where either Jenna or Richard Dreyfuss have to pretend to be this tribesman, and they go back and forth so that here's a tribesman and Richard Dreyfuss is there, or here's a tribesman and Jenna Elfman are there. And if you wonder what I'm doing, I'm looking up the rest of the cast. Dean Cundy, the guy who worked with John Carpenter on Halloween and all sorts of films, The Thing, on cinematography. He was the director of photography on this film. The other actors... Okay, Gregory Smith is the kid I was talking about. He was Alan in Small Soldiers, so there you go. He was the middle kid. Mila Kunis apparently was in this. I didn't even recognize her. I don't know which one was she? I didn't even recognize Mila Kunis in this. So there you go. I was just so dumbfounded by other stuff, I completely overlooked Mila Kunis. His mother-in-law, I know I recognize her. I'm trying to figure out her name. Because I'm like, I know I recognize her and stuff. I can't remember. I think she was in Screwed with Norma Down and Dave Chappelle. I think, yeah, I know that's like a random movie, and I'll probably put that movie above this. She was also in Out to Sea. She was in Cocoon the Return, Cadillac Man. You have, and I'm sorry, I know I shouldn't be looking, but you know, oh well. David Ogden Stiers, who I remember from the Dead Zone TV show. He was the voice of Dr. Jumba in the original Lilo and Stitch movie. He was on the TV show MASH for many, many years. He was the Reverend Gene Purdy in the Dead Zone with Anthony Michael Hall. The old woman that kind of is showcasing this party, and she's supposed to give the money, but you could tell she's out of it, almost catatonic. But she also notices that Richard Dreyfuss and Jenna Elfman aren't who they say they are. So when the money's supposed to be given, she's trying to fight, but she can barely do anything because she's so old. That's Frances Bay. I knew I recognized her. She was in the original Karate Kid. She was one of the neighbors. And she was also in Critters 3. She was one of the old people in the apartment building. Okay, if you ever seen In the Mouth of Madness with John Carpenter, remember the scene where you had the old lady who had her husband tied up and she's chopping the guy? That's Frances Bay. So that's probably where I recognize her the most from, is In the Mouth of Madness. So again, someone like me who watches a lot of movies, a lot of little, hey, I recognize that person, or that person was familiar, that type of thing. Other than, I just be Latrunus, I completely fucking, whew, oh well. Long story short, someone comes in and goes, hey, Lily Tomlin says this is all bullshit. And then there's a kerfluffle, and then there's a meeting, and then Lily Tomlin calls back and goes, well, wait a minute. I guess I found the tribe. I guess they were right. So what you come to find out is that the oldest daughter, who's been against Dreyfuss the whole time, calling him a liar, saying he's full of it, behind the scenes had called the tribe that Dreyfuss and the mom had seen and become friendly with the rest of the family, and said, hey, could you do us a favor, pretend to be this at this location and help us out? And they did it. Because then the daughter calls Zactus Bokai and thanks. Oh, you're welcome. And then everything's fine. Richard Dreyfuss, Jenna Elfman's going to be an item. They got away with it. Steaming that $100,000, and the movie's over. Jesus Christ. I know it took me 17 minutes to get through the plot. That also mentions some of the cast. Because there are comedies that are just meant to be fun and goofy, and I'm not the most PC guy. If you follow my channel, you know this man. But my God, this was just a stupid, shitty premise. I don't understand what the comedy is of, okay, they pretend to be tribesmen, and, okay, Richard Dreyfuss is dressed up like a black guy, pretty much, grunting with a spear. With some, white and stuff paint on him, too. But here's the kid, I'm like, that's literally the joke for the entire 80, 90 so minutes. That's pretty much it. That's not enough plot. That may be enough plot for a damn sitcom for 20 minutes. Not for a whole movie. I like Richard Dreyfuss. I like Jenna Elfman. I would not even say they had chemistry with each other, though. I didn't really buy them becoming a couple. The daughter having a change of heart for her old man, for her dad, I didn't buy. It felt like it just happened just because we need this to happen at the plot to wrap things up and no one goes to jail. But I didn't really feel like there was a big heart-to-heart talk where the dad says stuff to the daughter, and the daughter starts to understand what her dad's been through, and they have a meaningful conversation about the mom, or how the mom died, or something, to make me really buy into the daughter having that change of heart and doing these things. It didn't really have any of that. And the humor was just shitty, and if someone said it was insulting, I can see it. Maybe it's not as crazy as Soul Man, but close. With C. Thomas Howell. But it's kind of the same thing. Like, a white guy, or in this case a white family, pretend to be another race as a steam to get over this hump so you don't get in trouble and you get what you need to get. Only in Soul Man, he got caught and had to overcome. Like, he got caught and apologized and got somewhat punished compared to this. They got away with it and it was fine. So, I get it. There are comedies that let's have a very silly, goofy premise because a lot of times that can work and be a hit. I mean, think about it. If you told me the premise of Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, let's say it's 1985, a few years before that film comes out. You know, it's a few years before, okay, I'm going to write this and I'm going to do some rewrites and try to find money and make the film. What's it about? Okay, it's about these two kids. Okay. And they're going to school. All right. And there's a history report. All right. Okay. And they're in trouble and they're ready to fail out. Okay, there's some drama. Some kids do relate to that. We'll see. There's a fantasy element. Okay. See, someone comes by in I think originally it was like a van. Oh, like Back to the Future? Well, I mean, yeah, that just came out this week. This is 85. Well, yeah, no, but I'll think about it a bit because I don't want to rip them off. I don't know, maybe like a phone booth or something. Phone booth? Well, we'll think about it. But, okay, someone comes by in a phone booth and says, listen, we're going to help you. We're going to help you pass your test. Why would he do that? We'll see if they pass their test, they are on the way to be rock stars that will write a song to save the world and bring the world together. Huh? No, wait, not yet. So, in order for the book report, wait, what? No, wait. Until book report, they'll go back in time in the phone booth. Wait, the phone booth? What? Okay, what? No, just wait, hold up, hold the phone. Just let me finish. Okay, and then they got, so they're just gonna like write down what they see. No, they're gonna steal someone, kidnap someone. What? Yeah, see, so they're gonna get like Genghis Khan, and they're gonna get Abraham Lincoln, and they're gonna get Napoleon, and they're gonna get Billy the Kid and some others. They're gonna bring them back and do their book report. I'll be like, yeah, you're fucking mine. I ain't giving you my money. Fuck off. This is stupid. But then done well, it's a fun movie, and Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, a classic. Hell, if you told the premise of Back to the Future, okay, here's a guy, a kid with his friend who's a weird scientist, and go back in time and falls in love. Well, his mom falls in love with him, and of course he doesn't want that because his mom. I'm like, what? Like, you say some of these ideas out loud. Okay, this guy falls in love with this mannequin, but it's really a person because in the Egyptian times there was a curse and she became a mannequin. But then this one guy falls in love, but when everyone else sees her, it's a mannequin. So it seems like he's making out with a mannequin. And like, Weekend at Bernie's, this guy dies. Well, does he shit his pants? No one notices. But you're a dead body. Yeah, no, but it doesn't matter. Like, no one just notices and they just think he's dead. You say these premises out loud and they're outlandish and they're crazy and they're what the fuck, and it's hard to fathom. But if you cast it right and you direct it right and you make it work, I don't think there is a way you could have made this work with this premise. I really don't. I don't know if this is true. I read they wanted Robin Williams for the lead. I don't even think he could have done it. I really don't. So I'm glad Robin didn't do this. Yeah, I think even he realized, yeah, this is no good. It's just, no matter how you do this premise, it was always going to be shit. No matter how. And offensive. And somewhat racist. And just blackface. It's shit. And that's like the joke for the whole movie. And you got your product placement though, because there's a scene early on where Richard Dreyfuss talks to his kids at a McDonald's. So you got that going. Talk to each other at McDonald's. But goddamn, man. Goddamn. Shit. I don't know, man. I don't know. I looked at this, I go, someone should have looked at this idea and went, there's no way this is going to work. This seems like one of those premises that someone would have done in 1935 or 1942, and then years later people go, oh my god, can you believe they would have done that? Well, it's a different time, and people... But this was 1998, it was released by Disney, technically. So, if you want a Richard Dreyfuss film released by Touchstone Pictures, go watch Stakeout instead. With Sally that doesn't have a fucking Blu-ray. What a shame. Stakeout is great. You know what? Another Stakeout sucks, and it's better than this. I'd rather watch another Stakeout than this fucking movie. And that has Rosie O'Donnell in it. But yeah, another Stakeout I'd rather watch than this. This is fucking awful. So there you go. So with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. And we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye for now.